Yeah. All right, cool. There we go. All right. So the first thing, NEAT. So this is one of those science mumbo jumbo things. I'm gonna break it down simple as far as definition before I dive into like deeper of what it is. But NEAT, your NEAT, is basically calories you burn without working out. All right. That's all you gotta think about. But one of the things that you have to do when it comes to burning more calories and losing your stomach, the first thing is increasing your NEAT. I like to start with this right here first. It's good angle on my camera. I like to start with NEAT first, especially when it comes to somebody who's maybe like a beginner or is somebody who has been stuck for a while when it comes to losing your stomach, because a lot of times we're just like really super sedentary when it comes to this lifestyle, right? And so when you focus on your when you focus on your NEAT, what ends up happening, you start to raise how many calories your body burns. So you have like your metabolism, right? If you're taking notes on this in a replay, or if you're taking notes right now, you can write stuff down. But the things I look at when it comes to losing the stomach fat, first off, we're just trying to create a calorie deficit. Made a post about this, y'all. But if you ever heard about a calorie deficit is not a diet. But we'll talk about that as a whole. These topics can just go on and on, y'all. We get information overload, and then we don't know what to do at the end of the day. But we look at your BMR, that's your metabolism, right? And then we add in like exercise and cardio calories, right? And then we add in your NEAT, NEAT, how many calories you burn, just like regular day-to-day stuff. Like I need to do my dishes and fold my clothes. I'm telling my mama, but I need to do a little bit of chores, right? I'm gonna probably burn like 20 calories in my dishes. I might burn like 200 calories folding my clothes. It's been a few weeks. Yeah, but we have your NEAT calories you burn, right? You have calories you burn through any kind of formal training exercise, right? And then you just have your BMR. And your BMR is just like me living, breathing, move my arms around, thinking. That's just me burning calories just to stay alive, right? And when we add all these things together, we have how many calories you output on a regular day, right? And so one of the things that a lot of us lose sight of is because we have sedentary jobs, or maybe we're just busy at home, even working more after work, or some of y'all are in school and a full-time job, right? We just don't move as much. And especially as the pandemic passed by, one thing I actually made, I should repost this video, because in right at the beginning of 2020, I was like, hey, these are 7 things we need to do to make sure we're not gaining a whole bunch of weight during the pandemic. I already knew, all right, they're shutting down workplaces, so we're not going to commute to work, which means we're going to be walking less, we're going to be stuck in home, we're going to be super sedentary. The average weight gain in America was about 30 pounds, like literally was about 30 pounds during the pandemic. And that's literally because NEAT, right? And that can snowball into a whole bunch of other things. So when it comes to increasing your NEAT, here's some things that you can do. Like I'm sitting down right now, stand up and just like stretch a little bit, right? If you have a desk job, between your meetings real quick, just 3 to 5 minutes, stand up, go on your patio, balcony, just walk outside for a quick second, just, get you some kind of form of activity in regular intervals throughout the day, maybe every single hour, right? Do some household chores. So that means go clean your baseboards for once, do a deep clean, mop, sweep, do your dishes, fold your clothes, right? Like really get into that house cleaning. Okay. Another thing you can do is choosing the stairs over the elevator. Maybe if it's a 3rd floor, I ain't gonna lie. If it's like the 4th floor, man, I'm part-time lazy, y'all, but I'm not walking up the stairs. All right. But choose the stairs, when you can, when it makes sense. If it's like, I work on the 20th floor, okay. I'm not gonna say take stairs then, unless you're like super dedicated. But you can go for that. But stairs over the elevators, right? Choose like the more inconvenient paths, if you will. Park further from your location. So like when I go to the grocery store, you'll see, and I want you to pay attention to this and see if you do it as well too. But a lot of the times you go to the grocery store and you're trying to find the closest parking spot, or you go to the mall, or you go to the outlets, or just, you're out running errands. You're always trying to find the closest parking spot. Me, I just go with what's first available. And usually that's the ones in the back. But what that's doing is like, I do that. Let me see. If I were to go out errands like 2 times a week, that's 26 times a month, right? That stuff adds up long term. I'm always parking like in the middle to the back row and walking all the way in just to walk all the way back out, right? That's increasing my NEAT. It's a sneaky way to start burning more calories and start building a more active body. Another thing too is when you're on the phone and as long as you're in a safe area, as long as you're in like a safe area and you can walk around, the sun's out, like don't just talk, walk and talk. If you have a standing treadmill, I don't have one yet, but I really, really want to get one. Before this year, that's my goal, is to get a standing treadmill. I'm also going to plan on getting a standing desk. But walk while you talk on the phone. If you have a lunch break, eat your lunch, right? And then walk. That actually helps digestion. That actually helps your body start to utilize the food and the nutrients and the fuel that you just ate. It starts to digest and move those things faster. You store just a little bit less than fat. Now imagine if you did that every single time you ate lunch. And you actually eat lunch before you get to that stuff next. But then also when you're doing meetings, if maybe the camera doesn't have to be on or something, instead of like waking up and taking your meetings in the bed and just under covers, put your laptop or phone or wherever you're taking the meeting on, put it on something hot so where you have to stand up, right? You're going to shuffle around a little bit more and you burn just that much more. You get a little bit less sedentary. But overall, you want to increase your NEAT. Now, what is NEAT if we're talking science? NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Okay, I'm going to say it again. NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Basically, how many calories you burn when you are not doing anything at all. Okay, when you're not working out. So let's move on to point number 2. We're actually making really good time. It's only 5:11. John, what's up? See, I sent you the Zoom link. I don't know if you were working right now, if you're going to jump onto this one. John's probably going to be going live tomorrow or Saturday or something too, y'all. And he also has something really, really dope for y'all as well too. So y'all stay tuned for that. But the second thing is I want you to make the most subtle diet changes that you can. And I'm gonna put it to you like this. When I am on a regimen, like I'm about to start making some changes right now, and this is gonna kind of go into the weekend warrior thing too. But before I get into like what you can do, this is like how I like to diet. Dang, I just posted about that. That's wrong. This is how I like to clean up my eating habits. All right. So when I go into when I'm getting into a calorie deficit, I want to increase my output and lower the amount of calories that I put into my body. What I want to do is first, I know I like to take things slow. I don't like to be super fast in how I do things. Like I really, really got to slow it down. And because of that, I don't go cold turkey. John just jumped on, but I know with me, I don't like to go cold turkey. That's just not my thing. It never has been. Have I done it sometimes? Yes, but I've done it enough times to know I don't like cold turkey. This is just not for me. So subtle diet changes is a really cool thing. So like one week, I'll be like, all right, so I'm just gonna eat from home like 5 days this week. All right, I'm eating from home 6 days this week and make sure I'm getting like protein every meal. And then I'll make sure I'm eating from home 6 days a week, but then I'll make sure I'm at least like 4 meals a day. I'm doing that. Then I'll work maybe 5 meals a day. And we're talking like this is a whole 3-4 week time frame. I haven't mentioned counting my calories. I haven't mentioned measuring out my food and how many fruits and veg. Like, look, just eat 4 to 5 times a day consistently. Make sure you're eating from home because you eat from home, you have more control of what you're actually eating. And then on that 4th week-ish and kind of like between that 4 to 6 week time frame, now I'm being more intentional. Like, all right, let me track my amount of protein I'm getting in. All right, let me cut back on my carbs in the morning. That's what works for me. I don't work out in the morning, by the way. If I work out in the morning, I actually do eat carbs, but I work out like 2 o'clock. That's just been my average for the past really like a year and a half. So I don't really do carbs in the morning because they actually slow me down. They make me kind of brain foggy. They make me a little sleepy in the morning. It's basically, especially with how early that I wake up to get started on work. But I don't do carbs until about 12 o'clock, and then another little bit at 1:30 before I'm about to get my workout in, right? But I make super subtle changes over like almost a 12-week time horizon, because once 12 weeks come by, it doesn't even feel like I've been on a diet. It doesn't feel like I've been trying to really clean things up. It just feels like this is just what I'm doing, right? But some things that you can look into is so this is stuff you can take notes on. Again, if you catch the replay, if this is helpful for you, like give me a thumbs up, like, hey, this is actually really helpful. But something that you can do just general wise is you just start to watch your portion sizes, right? One of my favorite portion size watching things is like, let's say if I'm out to dinner, like a dinner date or something like that, or friends, a brunch, I actually make it a mission on whatever I order. Once I'm done, I'll slow down my eating and then I'll cut my food in half, so to speak, and I'll get a box to go, right? And the way you want to think about it is a lot of the times we grew up and our parents are always like, hey, you need to eat all your food, like eat all of your food. And that's just how we're conditioned to eat everything up, clear the whole plate off. And you're already full after like 3-4 bites, but you're like, well, mama said eat all my food. And now you're eating all the food and now you just had 1,000 calories. But then by the time your body starts to process some of that, it's later on in the day, later on in the night, and now you're gonna go for another 500 something calories, sometimes even 1,000, right? And if it's the weekend, you might be drinking too. And so you see how this can stack up. So one thing that I do is I know later on in the night, usually I just want something to bite on. And if I had like 1,000 calorie meal and I just cut it in half, that's still 1,000 calorie meal. It's just 2 different times of eating the same meal. So I'm getting the same savory or sweet treat twice. That's how I look at it. I get to eat this 2 times, right? And that's another way to watch your portion size versus eating 1,000 here plus drinks or water or soda or juice or whatever, and then some more, another 1,000 here, right? So watch your portion size, and you can get really different with this. It could be a smaller plate versus a bigger plate, small bowl versus big bowl. Use a little spoon, right? Another thing is make sure you're choosing nutrient dense foods. And so the easiest way to do this is if you have to think, is my food nutrient dense? Probably not. 9 times out of 10, unless you're well versed in like noticing what these things are. But choose more nutrient dense foods, right? Fruits, vegetables, things that are one ingredient. So if you pull out the label of a food item and you notice on the back of that label that that food item is like what would you say? You notice on the back of the label that that food item is about maybe 3, 4, 5, 20 ingredients, red dye, 40, this and that, maltose, dextrose, dextrose, and all that. Try one ingredient foods, right? That could be like, all right, one of my breakfasts, I'll have eggs, I'll have ground turkey, and then I'll have spinach, right? 3 ingredients. Very simple for my body to process versus getting like a packaged frozen ground turkey sausage that has all these preservatives and all that, right? Just ground turkey, oats, spinach, egg. Very simple process for the body, right? Those are usually going to be nutrient dense foods. Another thing is to limit your sugary drinks. Now, the way I like to limit my sugary drinks, I'm going to give you that tip when we get to the weekend warrior section. One more thing too is I want you to find 3 snack alternatives. So write down on your phone or a piece of paper, or even comment in the Facebook group right here. And I can probably even look in some of those and we can see if we can attach some alternatives to those that will help you out. But write down your favorite 3 snacks. Like, oh, I just love some chips, or I just love ice cream. And write down 3 alternatives to all of your possible snacks, right? Because sometimes it's not that you want that snack. A lot of times it's just you want to crunch on something. Like sometimes I used to think I crave juice and soda, but then I try like a sparkling water and I realized it's not that I want that. I just like carbonation. And that helped me cut out a ton of calories, a ton of sugars, right? So you want to be able to identify snacks that you like, things that you tend to crave, and understand and recognize what that craving is, right? You might have a savory tooth instead of a sweet tooth. Okay, what's a healthy savory meal you could snack on or you could eat or create that's going to help to curb that craving? And I'm going to say very, very brief on this because this is another topic on its own, but don't worry about counting calories. Remember what I said in my example, I probably wouldn't start counting calories until like the 8th week of like subtly making changes to my regimen, right? But count your protein instead. Like literally don't even worry about calories. Very, very basic rule of thumb, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That's your ultimate goal. Most people, when I go through and I do the food journal with them and itemize what they've been eating, you're like around 50 grams, maybe, sometimes 60 or so, right? Average American is getting like 45 grams of protein in. Okay. So the first benchmark is like, all right, if I'm at 50, let me try to get to 100 consistently. When I say consistently, like 3 to 4 weeks. Once I can do that, and I think if Emily's still in here, we did the same thing. All right, let's bump up. 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 So I would go 50, 100, 100, 110, 120. Stick at 120 for a while. That's a lot of protein, right? And just keep bumping it on up, right? High protein diets are very effective because you burn more calories when you eat more protein. That has to do, I'm gonna let you Google this because it's like it's a long point. Counting calories is gonna be a whole nother live discussion we do. But TEF, just look up what is TEF when it comes to nutrition. I'll let y'all figure that out on your own. All right, but let's get to that last point. That last point, and John actually went into detail with this when we did, it was, I don't think it was a mindset. No, when we talked about losing your first 10 pounds, John went into detail with this on the later half of the call. But don't be a weekend warrior, y'all. And so I'm not going to go as in depth because he definitely went in depth on that one. But I know it's the weekend, especially Memorial Day weekend. Y'all got 3-4 days weekends. The kids out of school, they about to say, hey, look, I'm going to be outside. Y'all need anything? All right, I'll be back. Look, I already know how it's about to go. You got vacations planned, boat, pool party, whatever's going on. Don't be a weekend warrior. Just because the weekend, the thing is, we have this structure that we follow during the week. And by the way, if you have any questions, write them down. We'll probably have a little bit of time to answer those, and the ones I don't get to answer, we'll just archive those and we'll be able to make those into future live discussions. But just because the weekend, it doesn't mean that we have to get out of that structure. Still have structure in the weekend. John talked about this too. You're going to notice that we tend to hark on some of the similar points, and like you consistently will hear things pop up. And that's because, y'all, that's what works. When it comes to like weight loss, I want to get my stomach toned up and everything. The things you did to get there, that becomes like your baseline. You just do those things, right? And then from there, we can add on little stuff, but we don't go back below this baseline. It comes to a certain point with our clients and leads that I'm like, all right, hey, look, now that we're 2-3 months in, we're past this, like, oh my gosh, I struggle to work out. We don't do it anymore, right? Now it's just minor tweaks. So we have to make sure we're raising our baseline, our low points. So our baseline is just, hey, I eat healthy like 60% of the time. All we got to do is raise to 80 and we'll get to our goal, and then maybe go to 100% here and there. But this is the main weekend plan I want you to do. 2 things. I'm going to say food and alcohol. So alcohol first. As you drink, so if you're somebody who likes to drink, I like to drink, y'all. I'm going to be straight up with you. But there are things you have to set up in place, barriers you have to set in place for yourself too. So anytime before I'm about to have something to drink, literally 2-3 bottles of water, I'm going to down that. Like, I'm going to down 2 bottles of water before I leave my house, because I know one thing: if I get to wherever me and my friends are hanging out at, then I'm going to get another thing of water. They're going to be like, oh, shots. I'm like, hold up, I haven't got my water yet. And usually the bars and the clubs and stuff, they give you like these little itty bitty things. In restaurants, restaurants give you a big old cup, but if you're out at like the daytime with your friends downtown or something, they give you like small cups. So I'll get 2 of those because that kind of equates 1 cup. But I put a ton of water between me and that first drink, because alcohol is also a diuretic. It gets push your body into flush mode. So as soon as I had that first drink, I'm already at the bathroom. Now if alcohol is gonna make me want to use the bathroom even more. Now I have to take time from wanting to go to the restroom to having to go to the bathroom. We work with a lot of ladies, and what that means, when you're out, the ladies' line for the bathroom is kind of long. So what does this do for you? One, you save money because you have less time to buy more drinks, and on top of that, you got to wait till you get the next drink, because you're probably not bringing your drink to the bar with you. You probably finish it, but like, hey, homegirl, can you watch this for me, right? Or you probably just ditch it all together. So now you have to wait all this time in line to go use the restroom, right? Because you have all this water, and then you have your next drink. But guess what? Before you have the next drink, go get some more water, and then you get the next drink. Now, the trick with this is, it's not that I'm saying, hey, you need to just cut out drinking. Would it be the best? Yes, it would. But I'm also realistic. I'm human too, right? Some people just don't want to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're just like waking up and living your life off vibes, it's not going to work long term, and it's definitely not going to get your stomach down. So let's make sure we get some hydration in there. You'll definitely appreciate it the next day. But that's it when it comes to alcohol. Keep it right there. Food. We're going to go back to what I mentioned in the nutrition thing. When it comes to food, you're out on the weekend, what is your source of protein? I will make a protein shake before you go home, before you go out to eat. Get your protein in, right? It's going to slow down digestion wherever you go out to eat with your girls nights, or date night with your man, with your lady, whoever. It's going to really help to mitigate your appetite right there, right? Because if you haven't eaten all day and then you go into the date night and you eat with your eyes, and now you're overeating, right? Because you're starving at that point. You can cap that by having a source of protein. Now, me, I'm hardcore. My food also tastes really good because I've been practicing for a while. But I'll pack some chicken, I heat it up, and I'm gonna eat it. And then I'll go out. Because in my head, I'm like, I had 150 grams of protein a day. I can eat anything I want. And it's kind of like that because, one, I'm gonna be a little bit full. I can eat all my food. And if I don't want to eat all my food, I'm gonna cut it in half. And it gets like, now I can have something later. Like, let's say I go to dinner, I had a super hard workout, my NEAT is off the charts, I took brisk walks and everything, and I'm at dinner with 150 grams of protein in my system, and I've had like maybe 50 carbs, like 100 carbs for the day, but I've done all this workout and activity, and so now I'm at a deficit of like 1,000, 1,200 calories. When I eat my dinner, it's actually going to be helping me out because my body's like, hey, yo, we're like 1,200 calories behind. And oh, don't worry, I got you. Now I'm eating all this food, enjoying myself at my dinner, not feeling restricted, and I wake up and I've lost more weight. And we've had a lot of clients that have had these experiences. Like, hey, I had a pizza, but then like, what was the next day? It was 2 pounds down. What happened? And we explained the process to them, what happened, right? But yeah, don't be a weekend warrior, y'all. And I think, one more thing, and I'm gonna be very brief because this is also another topic to talk about. But one thing that we don't consider when it comes to like alcoholic beverages and even too many sugars and even combining sugars and alcohol together and having that fun, what happens is you start to develop not only a hangover, but brain fog, stress hormone built up in the body. Stress hormone attracts a lot of water. If you had a lot of water weight, if you had a lot of carbs or sugary drinks and mixed cocktails or food with that, those carbs also attract a lot of water. So if you ever had like a night and you wake up next day, it's like, oh my God, I put on 7 pounds. You ain't put on 7 pounds of fat. 7 pounds of fat means you ate about over 10,000 something. See, 7 pounds of fat will be like 21,000 calories. Trust me, you didn't eat that much. But the illusion of feeling like you did can also drive that motivation and discouragement up, right? But when you have that brain fogginess from playing hungover and all the alcohol in your system, you make worse decisions. You tend to be less motivated to do things. You tend to not want to move. Why? Because your damn stomach hurts. You got a headache. You just don't feel like it. And because you don't feel like it, that starts to catapult because the body wants to move, but it can't because it's literally hurting. So you really want to start to watch those things when it comes to being a weekend warrior. But then once we kind of get past all that, Wednesday, Thursday, the body starts to calm down. Like now, okay, we got rid of all the alcohol. But guess what? Hey, girls, Thursday night, you trying to go happy hour? And here we go again. What's that TikTok? Here we go again. Yeah, that's what happens. Okay. So don't be a weekend warrior. All right. You fix that and do other things that change. We change right here. You're gonna start seeing some changes in your stomach. And most people, it's the food and alcohol. I ain't gonna lie. Now, the bonus tip is I'm going to be posting inside of here some free ab workouts for y'all. All right. So that's going to definitely help the tone and shape, but the ab workouts won't make sense if you don't do what I told you to do with these 3 different points. But that is it for this live right here. I want to see if there was any questions that we had in here. Let me see. Emily, thanks for putting that there. Emily, you said these are my favorite substitutes for ice cream. So Greek yogurt with berries and cookies. Use plant-based protein bar and chocolate strawberry shake for a protein smoothie. Yeah, I do that same thing. For me, chocolate, banana, and protein is like, and peanut butter, PB2 powder. That's like my favorite. I like what they call like chunky monkey kind of stuff. Like my favorite ice cream is like turtle ice cream. But when I mix that kind of flavoring up with the chocolate, the peanut butter and powder, and the protein powder, it does things for me. It's pretty good. I like that. He said chips, and convenience said brownie. So yeah, and cravings like those. Another thing, ladies, and I'll just let y'all do this yourselves, but go get your iron levels checked. Low iron, low energy, low motivation, easy fatigue, low strength. That is definitely linked to low iron, but definitely check with your doctor, because if you're someone who has low iron or needs to be taking iron pills or something like that, you want to make sure you're on top of your levels, because that can be a reason that you crave. Low iron is a reason that you would have cravings, because whenever your body's deficient of something, it replaces that with, okay, maybe I'm just craving something. And it's not that you're craving, you just ain't got no nutrients in your body. All right. So watch out for that. Can we do any average size slimmer waist? We actually can, but that is something I think we should definitely go live with Kavina someday soon, because those are more pelvic floor exercises that we can do. When it comes to that, let me see. You understand that really depends on the recipe. So dishes that I'm not familiar with creating myself, I would have to see like the entire breakdown. What do you put on the pan? What kind of, like, I just got to see the ingredients. When I see ingredients, then I can have a better idea of, okay, yeah, so based upon this and look at the macronutrients and everything, this is what we're looking at, right? So I would have to see the ingredients of everything when it comes to a Ghanaian dish. Let me do this real quick. John, did you have any okay. John, do you have anything? I'm about to pin you in here that you want to chip in on?
You did. I made some notes. You did talk some good stuff when it came to overall period, but the emotional eating and the weekend warrior talk. A lot of times when we go, I'll say just use the term turn up, right? A lot of times when we go out on the weekends and we're turning up, and we do get tipsy, drunk, whatever you want to, these are typically not just leading to the next day bad decisions based on fatigue, based on brain fog. Most times when people get drunk late night, they eat late night. And when they eat late night, y'all know what's open late night. It's the taco truck outside the club. It's the one who's serving the food outside the club, or it's Denny's, or it's, I don't know if it's Tallahassee, probably Waffle House. IHOP, all those late night spots. Typically, there's not too, unless you're in a major city, it's not too many good options after like 12 a.m. So that's always something to think about and plan ahead of time, because usually when you're going out and you're getting out of a spot at around, or a concert or wherever you're going to around 12 a.m., you're not going to have much options to eat. So one, you are in a different state because you're not all the way there and you're making smart decisions. When we talked about emotional eating as well at one point in time. And if you've ever, you know who you are. Some people are very emotional. They get a couple drinks in them. They telling the whole club they love them. They calling their mom. You may call some people that you never need to call again, or you told yourself you wasn't going to call. These are all major emotional decisions. Along with those decisions, what I've realized is clients actually use that same time. If you are an emotional eater, typically when people consume alcohol, they become even more emotional, and that turns, and that kind of it goes into the eating habits as well. So that's always something to look out for if you are an emotional eater, or when you do decide to drink, knowing what you're going to eat and where you're going to get it from ahead of time, and how it's going to affect you the next day or your feelings overall. And any decision you make, period, when you're inebriated, it's something you just got to look out for, because a lot of times when they do it, they're not in their right mind. And I've been there, especially college days. You'll wake up and like, I went to Waffle House. I did go to Waffle House yesterday. Like, you end up with those type of meals, and that's something I always think about. Now, that was pretty much as far as those snack alternatives. For me, I had like it's always like the Chex Mix, which falls into like the chips category. Peanuts and almonds falling into that category. And those are things we've all talked about previously before, but knowing like when it comes to peanuts and Chex Mix and what is it, trail mix? I'm thinking about Chex Mix, trail mix, and I'll
Might
probably
be.
say what?
Might be.
I think we talked about a few of those before, but yeah, just looking at those macros and understanding those macros. But I like how you put the progression. So slow movement over cold turkey. I will always recommend that, and I was always push cold turkey for everything. Maybe this year is the first time I've ever been taking the approach of slow movement and slow progression to attain things. And it's kind of just a eye opener for me, because I started to actually study my progress when it came to different stuff and realize something switched in the last like 3-4 years, where I can't go cold turkey as easily as I could my whole entire life. Like, I had this unique skill of being able to at any time tomorrow start a new habit. Like, it was an extreme skill that I had. I could be like, all right, tomorrow means a gallon of water now. Like, I could just do it. Something happened, and I blame the pandemic, because I blame it for everything else too. I lost it. I don't know what happened, but it's a lot harder for me to just abruptly change something. And if you know that's not you and you're like me, slow movement is always probably going to be the best way to go. And it's the way that we've gotten a lot more results from our clients, by telling them, like Jeremy was saying, hey, this week, we're doing 50 grams of protein. Let's just do 60. Let's do it for 5 days. Next week, like he was saying that he did with Emily, it's the slow progression. It's the progress that you don't necessarily see. And then you have, like you said, you have a new baseline. For us, the baseline is like, man, I'm not doing that great in the gym, but it's still 5 days in the gym. It's like the level of intensity different. Oh, I'm only eating right 70% of the time now. Okay, well, and I know 70% gives me this, but 80 to 90%, we're ready for a photo shoot. So as soon as you start your baseline, and then as you slowly come up with that slow movement, you'll have a new baseline. And when I say baseline, I mean just the things that you kind of, I ain't gonna say require of yourself, but I would say your bare minimum requirements. Like, I am going to eat every day. I'm not going to go by a full day and starve myself. And I know that's not going to happen. All right, guaranteed. I'm going to eat at least 60 grams of protein in a day because I'm going to do that in 2 meals at minimum. So once I've established that new baseline, it's only up from there, and you got to progress as the weeks go on.
Yeah, Sabrina said in the chat, Sabrina said it's called getting older, John. Sabrina threats.
God gets older. When you get older, you don't have the same willpower as you did before.
Shoot, I only got the same cravings, let alone the same fun tasks and things I like to do. Shoot.
Well,
Now
you
we have
gonna
a
take
good
away my
time
sweet
just
tooth
listening
as
to
I get older
birds.
then too. Then,
Like for real. But that's pretty much it. We are over time, so this is what I'm gonna do, y'all. Eunice said true that. This is what we're gonna do, y'all. Any questions you have, go ahead and drop them inside of this. Now, if you found this helpful, like let me know. You know, let us know. Drop a little hashtag replay. I found this helpful. Let us know what impacted you the most. And if you have a friend that you know has been like complaining about, girl, I need to unbig my back by before tomorrow. If you got a hunger like that and she's not in this group, just invite her to this group. Let's get right, y'all. All right. But until next time, that's it for me. Yeah, anything
one more
else?
thing. I'm going live tomorrow, so
You
haven't
got a time
announced
yet?
the time yet. I can decide right now, to be honest. Since while we're on the phone, let's do. What time is it right now? 5 o'clock
Right
your
now it's
time.
5:30. 5:30.
5:30.
Yep,
That time
Central.
you started at 5. I can do 3. So 5 p.m. Central Time tomorrow, I'll go live.
Cool. We'll drop a little flyer.
Then I'll drop a flyer and tell y'all exactly the topic. But like Jeremy said, we're trying to do this a lot more. Maybe like this would make what 5 besides the live streams we do daily, 4 or 5 live streams a day, per week. I mean, so we're gonna give out all type of tips, nuggets. There's no reason why lack of knowledge is not gonna be our reason why we're not in shape this summer, or we're not making progress to the better version of ourselves. We will have all the knowledge we need, and then we will have all the accountability you need.
And boom, there it is, y'all. So we'll get that event out to y'all and with a topic pretty soon. We'll see that tonight. Other than that, hey, y'all have a good Memorial Day weekend. Don't be a weekend warrior. If you don't know what a weekend warrior is, head to the 19-minute mark of this video after it's posted, and I'll explain everything to you. That's about where we started the chat about a weekend warrior. Other than that, peace out.